Hey there guys, let's get right into this one. It's going to be a bit of a boring video of gameplay, but a pretty interesting story. So I joined like a couple minutes in, but the war had already started and we had 1 death in 9 fights, which if you know anything about Masters type of wars, that's very, very, very bad to start. Especially if you're in first currently and you're going against someone like KENOB, who can definitely put on some heat and put up very, very low deaths. Before this war, they were averaging like 3, maybe 5 deaths at most. So, with giving up 1 within the first 10 fights, we were already pretty worried, but we had some good confidence in us and that they would die at least a couple times, and we knew if we just kept our deaths down. So, you know, this is KENOB. It's boost to the max, boost with what you got, use a gray boost every fight, no matter what. Spend loyalty, accept a compensation even if it puts stuff in overflow. So I have Korg on the strike counter node. He has armor. There's other champs who can do this, of course, but Quake, as long as you don't do any scrub moves, you're going to be fine. You have class disadvantage, so it's a little bit lower damage than you should have. Like with the boost I'm running, I should be at like 450 damage. So I drop a heavy there, not very good. As I've said, my season of Quake gameplay I feel like hasn't been the best overall, but I haven't died. I've only died that 1 time with Quake, but I feel like I should be playing better with her. I've been dropping a lot of heavies, getting tagged a lot. You'll see that in a fight later. This fight, outside of that 1 heavy, I think just the 1 heavy, it goes very cleanly. So we just kind of kept dying in between Section 1 and Section 2. A lot of our early deaths came from it's not many deaths, like even only like a Masters Alliance, you know, if you give like 2-3 deaths in a BG, that's like kind of bad for the Alliance. So it seems like a lot, but if you're like a P1, P2, that doesn't seem too bad. But it was a lot to give up, especially early on. But I think I show the score in the next clip, but when I go into Section 2, we were still down, and it was kind of bad with what the score was. I think we were at like 50 fights and like 3 deaths or something. It wasn't looking too hot, but they had started to fight and they had actually died, so we had, you know, some confidence. This has that bleed if they have armor up again, and if you don't know anything about Angela, she starts every fight with an armor up buff. She gains a different buff based on her power, and her 0 bars of power buff is an armor. So I knew I can't really parry, I can't hit her if I don't have a concussion on her currently, so I was trying to make sure I played as clean as I could. I have the invul up, I'm max boosted still. Everything is basically as much as I can give it. I guess there's like 1 more thing I probably could have done, but it wouldn't have made much of a difference, especially not in this fight. This fight goes very cleanly as a whole, which is very, very good. I need to start doing that a bit more with Quake. I don't know, I just feel like I've been a bit off with her. I need to play her some more in some content. Like that heavy, fortunately, I have 2 concussions on her, so there's nothing really that can trigger. I just need 1 more aftershock and she's gonna die. So the deaths, we ended up stemming our deaths around this death toll, I think. So we were pretty much done dying from here on out, I think, but we were already up to like 4 deaths and like 80 fights, something like that. It wasn't very pretty. So I went into this fight and I made sure I had my invul boost on still, because it was a couple seasons ago now, like a lot of seasons ago. It was early on in Spider-Ham's release. No, it wasn't. He was actually out for a while at that point, I think, but it was the first time I'd quaked him, and I just got absolutely smoked by him. His animations, I just had a lot of trouble reading. So in this fight, I'm like, okay, I'm tracking his animations, I thought I had him, and then I take 3 hits, invul gone. Okay, that's not a good start. He already has half a bar power, 3 hits on me, invul is done. He's at half health though, minute in, so I'm like, I just gotta go for around a minute more, and I'm good. Just don't get hit. Just play it safe, and he crits. He crits for 16k combined in 2 hits, 50%. Now I didn't have willpower on there, so I would have healed up to over 50% if I had. He gets a bar of power, so I have to go and I hit him. I throw a special, but Spider-Ham takes reduced damage. I try to throw a heavy, I eat an SP1. So now I start hitting him with Quake. I'm at 10%, which means Assassin's range is on. And so I actually have some excuses for that fight, but like they don't matter. I almost threw the war there. Like if I do die there, KENOB maybe doesn't give up 1 more death later on and we lose that war, and that would have been absolutely tragic. That's probably me out of the Alliance, if I'm being honest, because that's not a fight I should die to. that was honestly just one of my worst Quake fights in a very, very long time, and that includes dying to someone. Now, I'm not entirely sure how the Chitinous Thorns, Chitinous Thorns node works. I read it, and it kind of sounded like I should have taken a bleed there when I parried him, so I freaked out for half a second, but I didn't get a bleed, so it's all fine. This fight also goes pretty well. So the reason I had that little transition there, right before this fight, was I had just come back from doing a workout outside. I got home, I washed my hands a couple times to make sure I had no sweat on my hands, on my phone, make sure everything was clean. And I was swiping around on my phone, I was like, okay, it feels a little bit sticky. So I dried my hands on a clean t-shirt and stuff. I was just trying to make sure my hands were clean. And for the Angela fight, my hands felt fine. And then midway through, yeah, about the minute in, where I got hit those first couple times on the ham fight, my fingers just started sticking a ton to the screen. And so it didn't feel like I was sliding very well. And so when I would go to slide, it just wouldn't slide. And that's why I think I got hit. I have Mr. Fantastic to apply pre-fight up at the Maw. I had Torch to apply a pre-fight to a White Magneto in Section 2. I forgot to mention why I had those two champions. I only fought with Quake this war. The other two were just for pre-fights for other people. They did their fights very well, so I'm fine doing that, It's what you gotta do for a win sometimes. Let other people take a fight, you bring a pre-fight for them. They did it well, so that's all that matters to me in the end. But back to that other part really quickly. So yeah, my hands, halfway through, a quarter way through that Spider-Ham fight, my fingers just started sticking and grabbing to the screen. So then I ended up stopping recording, and I took a quick break. I washed my hands, and I was looking for lotion or something to see if my hands were dry. So I ended up just running my hands through my hair. My hair, I guess, was kind of greasy, so it was making my hands actually slip and slide on the screen, how you're supposed to actually be able to play on a phone. So that ended up helping me out a lot in that Nimrod fight, which was actually fairly clean. I still dropped a heavy. I don't know why I keep doing this. I see their animations are over, and then I still throw the heavy. It's something I need to work on. But this war, if you see here, we ended up winning 6-4, and we gave up 4 deaths very early on. So we got not lucky. We got a little bit lucky that they gave a lot of deaths, but this was a bad war from both alliances. But 6-4 in the end is honestly still a pretty good score. I was also pretty happy with our time differential. We were within 1,000 seconds of KENOB, which GT40 is known for being a slightly slower alliance. I feel like we were not going to often win on time. So I was really happy that we were actually that fast. So that was a really fun war. It was very stressful, very tense. Alliance chat going off the entire time. It was a very, very fun war to be a part of, but a bit hard on the heart, if you know what I'm saying. So that'll be it for this video. I'm thankful that you guys watched. I hope you guys had a good day. I'll be seeing you guys soon.